Thanks for joining us on the weekend edition of National Focus. I'm Shaakira, Pierre. Coming up, government donates over $500,000 to hurricane-stricken Haiti and Bahamas. Southeast Road receives critical attention, and Parliament meets next week. Stay with us for details of these and other stories after this.
Children, yell and tell. If someone tries to abuse you, tell until someone believes you and they do something about it.
For more information on child abuse or to report suspected cases on child abuse, contact the Social Welfare Division on 33 Great Marlborough Street or call 266-3020 or 266-3080.
Thanks for staying with us. CARICOM Chairman, the Honorable Prime Minister Dr. Roosevelt Skerrit, has committed US $100,000 each to hurricane-stricken Haiti and Bahamas. The Dominica leader led a delegation to Haiti and the Bahamas on a fact-finding mission on Monday, 10th October. Dr. Skerrit was accompanied from Dominica by Government Advisor on Disaster Management Cecil Shillingford. En route, he was joined in the Bahamas by CARICOM Secretary General Erwin Larrock, Executive Director of the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency, CDEMA, Ronald Jackson, and other technical staff of CDEMA. The Honorable Prime Minister reported that Haiti was severely affected in the two towns of Lacaille and Jérémie.
Schools have been affected, the health centers have been affected, and coupled with the destruction of Hurricane Matthew, there is an outbreak of cholera in Haiti, and there have been deaths associated with that particular disease.
The Honorable Prime Minister was heartened by the positive response of the international community to the plight of Haiti.
We also have to assist Haiti in ensuring that the response to Hurricane Matthew is not only in respect to the immediate assistance, but Haiti is going to need a sustained commitment to rebuild homes and rebuild better infrastructure to be able to withstand any category of hurricane in the future.
Meanwhile, the visit to Bahamas also revealed that two islands, Grand Bahama and Andros, were severely affected by the hurricane.
There's not one home that was not affected by the storm, and people's entire livelihoods have been literally blown away and washed away by seawater. And I indicated yesterday that the government was saying to me that the seawater went in as much as 1.5 kilometers inland, with heights ranging from 6 feet to 4 feet of water level. Luckily for them, the residents are saying that the water did not stay for too long. It came in a matter of 2 minutes, receded. Yes. But had it stayed there for a longer period of time, there would have been major casualties.
GIS News will give you an in-depth report of assistance to the two affected islands in a subsequent newscast. Honorable Parliamentary Representatives for Rivière-Syriac and La Plaine, Ivor Stevenson and Peter Saint-Jean respectively, have revealed that rehabilitation of the Southeast Road between Rivière-Syriac and Port-Cassé is being fortified for user safety. A GIS News team visited the area, and Lurie and Graham Carter filed this report.
Road access to residents of the Southeast will in short time be much easier and safe when a major project to prevent further soil slippage is complete, with the replacement of box culverts and retaining walls at critical areas in Souchol.
They are going to replace the 2-foot culverts that were actually serving the waterway in that area. The box culverts, as we have seen right now, are rather huge culverts in terms of their heights, and they should be able to carry as much water in order to avoid the inconveniences that occurred in the past, especially during heavy rains and the blocking of culverts, and we find the area being flooded, causing the road to be impassable.
The Honorable Rivier Syriac MP Ivor Stevenson explained that the water is currently coming from 2 streams above the culvert, and the installation of a bigger culvert will prevent further blockage and inconvenience for travelers to and from the city.
It would be well over 5 feet, something that someone can really walk into. But what it was serving before were the round culverts, and I had a look at it, and it was basically just about 2 feet in diameter. So what we're now seeing is a rather much difference in terms of what is going to serve the present ravine.
The current culvert is just one of a few others being replaced between Pocasset to White River. He explained how the team intends to prevent further soil slippage.
In instances where the road has failed and they have replacing they're replacing the areas with walls, retaining walls, we may see a slight change in the width of the road in terms of an increase in width. The first area, when you came from the Tefan area, there was an alignment to the road where before we had a rather sharp bend, so they have now made it much easier so that persons traversing the area could have a much easier bend when they're coming to or from the east.
Excavation in that area is near completion. In the area near Tefan, a larger culvert is also being installed along with road drainage.
What we are realizing is that these areas are rather vulnerable, especially taking into consideration that these structures that we are now looking at and replacing, they were built in the 1960s, and as far as we were expected they to be filling by now. Taking into consideration that the heavy rainfall that we're experiencing right now, they're really filling. We're seeing a lot of edge failures, making the road very unsafe for pedestrians and other persons who come to the area.
Honorable Parliamentary Representative for the La Plaine constituency, Peter Saint-Jean, told the GIS News team that the current road situation is also negatively impacting his constituents and activities in these communities.
I'm indeed thankful that after a long wait, we have seen in the past 2 weeks serious works being done here. I think honestly that the volume of work that has been done in the space of 2 weeks, that if the contractor should continue in this vein, that within very short time, this specific area, that is the retaining wall and this box culvert crossing that is being done, should be completed within short time.
He commends the Honorable Minister for Public Works, Senator Miriam Blanchard, and her team for their dedication to the project's completion.
We expect that in time, we will have a completely rehabilitated roadway stretching from Pocasset right onto Point Milat in Delis.
Meanwhile, Honorable Stevenson divulged that plans are in the pipeline for the complete rehabilitation of the East Road from Pocasset to White River.
We don't want to see ourselves being caught like what happened during Erica in the Whitaker area. We are presently looking at the whole question of the total rehabilitation of the East Coast Road. So by then, when the necessary estimates and designs are made available to the Prime Minister, we are hoping that we will see improvements in terms of the width of the road and other interventions in terms of the replacement of other culverts.
Honorable Saint-Jean explained further the plans of the Honorable Prime Minister Dr. Roosevelt Skerrit in that regard.
The Prime Minister has been very proactive in this respect, and I'm happy that he has recognized the importance of the roadway in the southeast, and he has set up a special unit within his ministry, within the Prime Minister's office, to deal specifically with the roadway leading into the southeast. And I think that is good news for us, because really and truly, this is probably one of the most challenging areas in Dominica. But the reality is we need to address the situation head on.
The project, which is being executed by Gadakan AFP, is expected to be completed in March 2017. For GIS News, I am Lurian Graham Carter.
Thanks, Lurian. In more news, Honorable Parliamentary Representative for the Rivier Syriac constituency, Ivor Stevenson, is pleased that government has responded quickly to the collapse of a section of the road to Rivier Syriac. Earlier this week, a landslide occurred at the Fong Morgan area in Rivière-Syrique. Honorable Stevenson revealed that this would be a major setback for the community if the situation was not immediately addressed.
That area in Morgan, again, we have a stream, a river passing through that area, and a major slide when it occurred that is creating even a challenge, a risk to a small dwelling house in that specific area. We realized in the Southeast, myself and also the parliamentary representative for the Southeast, Honorable Seja, realized that if the necessary immediate interventions are not undertaken now, we are going to be faced with a situation similar to like we had in the Boutique area with the gorge. It is not as deep as the Boutique area where we have that depth and great challenges of really putting Bailey bridges or Bailey Bridge, but there is urgent need for the construction of a passage.
The Rivière-Syrique MP stated that the situation is already being addressed by Cabinet and the Minister for Public Works.
In discussion with her up to yesterday, she has already been taking steps to ensure that she gets an engineer to go on site to look at the necessary interventions that are to be undertaken, get the necessary estimates, and that should be submitted to Cabinet so that we can do the quick approval and get the necessary financing to ensure that we can do the necessary interventions that will prevent us from being cut off, as we say normally, from the other sections of the Southeast.
GIS will give you more from that development when it becomes available. You're watching National Focus, more when we return.
Let's have some fun, eh?
I'm not ready for your kind of fun yet.
But everybody else is doing it.
But I'm not everybody else. I'm me, and I want to do well in school.
Well, you definitely get an A for attitude.
I plan to get an A in life, and then I think of your kind of fun.
So what am I to do in the meantime?
You'll survive.
Say no when you're not ready. Use condoms when you are.
Welcome back. Government on Thursday officially broke ground for the commencement of work on the York Valley Bridge in the Layou Valley. The York Valley Bridge was severely damaged following the collapse of the Mathieu Dam in July 2011. Chinese firm China Railways Cooperative will reconstruct the bridge, which is estimated at a cost of $11 million. The government of the People's Republic of China is funding the project. At the groundbreaking ceremony, Honorable Prime Minister Dr. Roosevelt Skerrit remarked that the new piece of infrastructure will enhance opportunities for the people of the Layou area.
Today we are here in Layou to witness the commencement of the York Valley Bridge. This no doubt is an important piece of infrastructure that will enhance opportunities in farming and tourism for the residents of Layou Valley and Layou Park. This is a commitment which the government gave to you, and we are grateful to the government of the People's Republic of China for coming to our assistance yet again in the form of a grant to construct this important infrastructure.
He extended gratitude to the People's Republic of China for their commitment and continued assistance to the Commonwealth of Dominica. The Honorable Parliamentary Representative for the St. Joseph constituency, Kelva Daru, is also grateful for the gift from the People's Republic of China. He said he is elated to bring this new development, which will transform this part of his constituency, particularly for farmers.
And as a member of Parliament for the St. Joseph constituency, and I see a number of my farmers here this afternoon, the hard-working farmers of the Layou Valley. I see farmers like Mr. Magdo, and Mr. Coffee, and a host of the other farmers here this afternoon. And the farmers, they can testify that having to traverse this road on a daily basis to access the farms have not been easy. And that is why this bridge is the stepping stone to having this entire Layou Valley transformed and taken to a new heights than it was before.
GIS will bring you more from this official groundbreaking ceremony in Monday's newscast. On October 16th, Dominica will join the rest of the world in the observance of World Food Day under the theme Climate is Changing, Agriculture Must as Well. Preceding the observance of this day, the 4-H Club of the St. Mary's Primary held a Food Day exhibit for students on Thursday. Teacher Jessica John Baptist is a local leader of the SMP 4-H Club.
We are now looking at how we can conserve and preserve, because the children, if you realize, they need to learn how to do it. For example, you have access to guava. You may have excess guava for your family. Instead of having it thrown out or just stayed under the tree, you could probably use it and probably make guava jellies, guava marmalade or jams, whatever it is. So that is one of our main reasons for conservation and showing that how we could use what we have. Grow what we eat what we grow. That's basically what we are trying to teach them.
She revealed that 4-H Dominica was engaging in other activities in observance of World Food Day.
This afternoon, we will be moving on to St. Martin Primary, and there we will continue with using what we have, which is local items. I think they have done something with breadfruit, and they will show many different ways in which we can use breadfruit for a meal or maybe for a snack or a drink. So they'll be showing how to use breadfruit. The other schools, what they did were everything, they came here today and then everything took place here. So they had a few choral speech, poems, dances. Basically, that's what they have been involved in.
She believes that educating the youth on the importance of food and its sustainability is critical.
World Food Day is important because agriculture is one of our main things in Dominica. We know that compared to the rest of the islands in the Caribbean. And our children need to learn to maintain that because our parents used to be doing it, and now you find it is on a decline. So now if we encourage our youths, because 4-H is also about agriculture, that is part of it. So if we encourage our youths that to do agriculture, take part in it, make it interesting, and teach them that whatever it is that you grow, you can have it on your plate for dinner one of those days. You know, it's going to be fun for them, and they like to hear that. They like that, to pick the tomatoes and, you know, go to the garden, do the little weeding. They enjoy these things. I would like to send it out to all the schools out there and groups or organizations that deal with the youth to don't shove agriculture on the side because probably you have to get dirty, but try to encourage them as much to be part of it because it will be helping and saving our future for sure.
Grade 6 student of the Girardel Primary School, Jacinta Grant, shared with GIS News what she learned at the event.
Well, I learned about conservation of our foods, our produce on our farms. I learned about climate change and how it can affect us. I learned how we can grow and take part in agriculture at our homes and school. And I also learned how to cooperate with other schools and how to be a better 4-H member. I will always remember that climate change is important to our gardens and to our farms, and that without farms we have no food.
The first meeting of the second session of the 9th Parliament gets underway at the House of Assembly on October 19, 2016. At that meeting, the Honorable Prime Minister Dr. Roosevelt Skerrit will introduce bills for amendments to several acts, including the International Business Companies Act, the Tax Information Exchange Act, the Value Added Tax Act, and the International Exempt Trust. The Honorable Prime Minister will also seek Parliament's approval for supplementary estimates of expenditure for 2015-2016 amounting to $103,886,083.25. The Honorable Minister for Justice, Immigration and National Security, Rayburn Blackmore, will introduce a bill for an act to amend the Sexual Offences Act No. 1 of 1998. The bill comprises 16 sections and seeks to introduce a number of new, as well as to improve some existing provisions in the Act. Honorable Blackmore will also introduce a bill from an Act to make provisions in relation to bail in or in connection with criminal proceedings in Dominica and to provide for related matters. The Honorable Minister for Trade, Energy and Employment, Ian Douglas, will introduce a bill for an Act to provide for the development, exploration and use of geothermal resources, and for related matters. A bill will also be introduced by the Honorable Minister for Tourism and Urban Renewal, Robert Tong, for an act to amend the Tourism Regulations and Standards Act of 2005. Next Wednesday's meeting of Parliament begins at 10 a.m. and will be carried live on GIS Channel 5, on Mapping 2K4, Channel 2 on DigiPlay, and as well as on our GIS Dominica YouTube channel. Let us now join Kadisha St-Louis for a recap of this week's headline stories.
Welcome to this week's edition of Flashback. In the headlines this week, a national consultation on developing a national brand for fresh produce in Dominica was held on Friday, October 7th. The consultation was held in collaboration with the Dominica Export-Import Agency, Dextia, and spearheaded by the Promotion of Regional Opportunities Through Enterprise and Linkages, or PROPEL project. After 15 years as chairman of the Canefield Urban Council, Simeon Albert passed the baton to Maxime Powell at the 9th inaugural meeting of the council last week. The inauguration ceremony was held at the Old Mill Cultural Center. Diana Prosper from Dubla is Dominica's 27th centenarian. Last week, Prosper began her birthday celebrations with a mass at the Miraculous Infant Jesus Chapel in Dubla. Dominica's newest centenarian received gift baskets from His Excellency Charles Savre, the Minister for Social Services, Lady Catherine Daniel, and the Dominica Council on Aging. On Monday, the Honorable Prime Minister and Chairman of CARICOM, Dr. Roosevelt Skerrit, headed a contingent of officials on a fact-finding mission bound for Haiti and the Bahamas, the two Caribbean countries hardest hit by Hurricane Matthew. This was the region's first response effort to assess the level of destruction wreaked on those sister member states of the Regional Integration and Economic Movement. On Tuesday, October 11th, the Ministry of Education held a Health and Family Life Education HFLE workshop for teachers touching on some of the major thematic areas of HFLE. This was also aimed at increasing the versatility and proficiency of teachers within the classroom. Al Parillon has for the second time in 2 years made a record, this time as the top performing student for the Cambridge A-level examinations this year. Parillon was among two others, Tiffany Johnson and Torja Vital, who performed the highest in the 2016 Cambridge A-level examinations. Parillon, a former St. Mary's Academy student, majored in accounting, computer science, and mathematics at the Dominica State College. Al Parillon received a grade B in mathematics and an A in business, accounting, and general paper. The Government of Dominica, through the Ministry of Health and Environment, hosted the 13th OECS Pharmaceutical Procurement Service PPS Policy Board and the 3rd Council of Health Ministers meeting at the Fort Young Hotel on October 12th and 13th. The first meeting dealt with procurement of pharmaceuticals and other medical supplies, while the second focused on broader issues of health, including HIV/AIDS treatment, cancer management, and international health regulations. And finally, 25 agriculture industry personnel, including exporters, packhouse operators, and farmers, have been set to receive training in post-harvest treatment and handling and packaging of dasheen and other roots and tubers. This was the second in a series of workshops titled Strengthening the Capacity of Agro-Processors, Farmers and Exporters on Processing and Packaging Technology Specific to Their Operations, emphasis on roots and tubers. These were some of the headline stories making the news this week. For details of each of these stories and others, visit our website or Facebook page. Back to you, Shaakira.
Thanks, Kadisha. Coming up next, your tip of the day.
There is a silent, invisible killer in our midst. A killer which largely goes unnoticed as it plies its deadly trade. Its name is secondhand tobacco smoke, which has a far greater impact on persons inhaling this poison than on smokers themselves. Secondhand tobacco smoke is especially detrimental in public places and negatively impacts our national health as well as public health expenditure. Stop this invisible killer now. Say no to secondhand tobacco smoke in public places. A public health message brought to you by the Ministry of Health and the Pan American Health Organization.
October 16th is World Food Day. Get involved in World Food Day by doing the following activities. Tell children about the significance of celebrating World Food Day. Distribute brochures, flyers to spread awareness to avoid food wastage and encourage food sharing habits to avoid wastage of food. That's all for this edition of National Focus. We always welcome your suggestions and comments. Drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm or visit our website news.gov.dm. Like our Facebook page, facebook.com/GIS News Dominica, and follow our Twitter at GIS Dominica. You can also catch up on past National Focus newscasts on our GIS Dominica YouTube channel. Live streaming is also available on our YouTube channel 24 hours a day. From all of us here on the GIS News production team, I'm Shaakira Pierre. Thanks for watching and have a great weekend.